Right. Both Marvel and Sony, can we stop making movies for just a minute, please? I need a break from making these videos. No, I'm kidding, of course.
Professional web comedian.
I love this stuff, but I am starting to look and feel like Morbius from all the hours researching and editing these videos. The end of March and start of April is a really busy time, people. So, Mobius.
Wow.
I mean, Morbius. You know what? Let's just watch the trailer before I rabbit on any longer. If you do want to skip the trailer to get to the juicy stuff, that of course being me, then use the time code in the description below.
You need a doctor?
I am a doctor.
I should have died years ago.
People all over the world have my disease.
I'm here to find a cure. We have to push the boundaries, take the risks.
If you're gonna run,
Do it now.
People are strange
Dr. Michael Morbius, you've been missing for 2 months.
when you're a stranger.
Then you were found on a container ship that washed up off of Long Island.
Faces look ugly when you're alone.
What did you do to yourself, Doctor?
I wish I knew. I went from dying to being more alive than ever.
It worked.
Not exactly. I have increased strength and speed and some form of bat radar. What else can I do?
There are limits. There has to be.
There's something inside of me that wants to hunt and consume blood.
Michael.
When you're strange, faces come.
Can you control it?
I don't know.
Half the city wants to kill you.
Remembers your name
We haven't had anything this good since that thing in San Francisco.
when you're strange.
The other half wants to control you.
Hey, Dr. Mike, you and I should stay in touch.
I'd do anything to save a life, but I don't know what I'm capable of.
You save lives, you don't take them.
Are you here to heal the world? Or to destroy it? Who the hell are you, man?
I am Venom. I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
So, Jared Leto will be introducing us to Morbius, the living vampire. Rumour has it what secured Mr. Toe's interest in the role was the moral implications of an anti-hero with a bodily requirement to drink blood. Because that's relatable, I guess. Make of that what you will. So this movie does take place within the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. This is because Venom is name dropped.
Who the hell are you, man?
I am Venom. I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius.
Who we know visited the MCU as a result of Doctor Strange's spell in No Way Home, and got drunk in a bar for a bit before leaving again and leaving some of that Venom symbiote goop stuff behind. There's also a line about the events that happened in San Francisco for even more added confirmation that this shares a world with Venom.
We haven't had anything this good since that thing in San Francisco.
Plus, even if that wasn't in the movies or trailer, the director has confirmed it in an interview with Cinema Blend, where he revealed something massive about who the Spider-Man of this universe is. We've got some great theories and speculation coming up, so stick around for that. But obviously, potential spoiler warning, just in case any of them become true. So who is Morbius? The character first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 101, and has continued to be a Spidey villain ever since. However, just like how Venom in this Sony movie verse has been portrayed as an anti-hero, it seems like Morbius will be a sympathetic character that audiences can relate to on some level, even if he is like eating people or some shit, I don't know. So as you gathered from the trailer, in several attempts to cure himself of a deadly blood disease, Dr. Michael Morbius accidentally transforms himself into the living vampire after a botched experiment with bats. As time goes on, this just drives his unquenchable thirst for blood more and more. To quench this thirst and still be morally good, the balance he strikes is only preying on criminals and bad guys? What a true hero, am I right? No, probably not, but you can debate this moral issue in the comments below. Like and subscribe while you're down there in that section of the page too, or I'll consider you a bad guy and I'll come and suck your blood. Yeah, that's right, I'll suck you. Wait, forget that, that's not what I meant. Anyway, along with the bloodthirst side effect, he now also has enhanced strength, speed, a bat radar-like ability, and he can fly too. In the source material, he also has accelerated healing, like Wolverine and Deadpool do. I do just want to point out though that this doesn't make him a literal vampire, he just looks like one and has that never-ending craving for blood, so he hasn't got the weaknesses like garlic, sunlight, crosses, all that stuff.
Holy water? Really?
Yeah. You ever see Lost Boys?
Somebody else who may have similar abilities like that in this movie is the 11th Doctor himself. You probably spotted Matt Smith in the trailer. So his character's name is Milo, but he seems to be based on a guy called Loxias Crown, known in the comics as his alter ego, the Hunger. He actually suffers from the same condition as Morbius, and this explains his pursuit of him. Now, obviously, he's just portrayed as a normal guy in the trailer. It's not implied that he has any powers himself yet. But in the comics, he was a Hydra agent who wanted to experiment on Morbs, but instead, he bit off more than he could chew. Or rather, Morbius bit him and left him with similar abilities, which he then used to go on to create a whole horde of vampires in the sewers of New York or something. We could see that play out in the movie, and I think we all agree that would be pretty darn cool. But again, it's unclear whether in the movie, when he bites someone, if they survive, it turns them into a vampire. I think maybe the explanation would be that because his blood is infected, biting someone would also infect them, hence giving them powers too. I don't know, that's just pure speculation on my part. What do you think? The trailer does also tell us that Matt Smith's character was Michael Morbius' childhood friend, who in the comics was actually his first victim. So I bet this is actually a new character, but it's just a mix of those two comic book characters combined.
All our lives we've lived with death. Why shouldn't they know what it feels like for a change? Just accept who you are. The bad guy.
I'll tell you what is absolutely crazy though. The fact that the majority of this movie was filmed all the way back in 2019. But, you know, we had our own crazy worldwide events in real life, so that's why for the most part, we had to wait until 2022 to get to see this. You can go watch this in theatres on good old April Fool's Day, and maybe go stay in the movie theatre all day. I've literally done that before. And avoid getting any April Fool's pranks. Will you be doing that? Going to the theatre at all, I mean, to see this movie, not staying in there all day. Or are you like, meh, probably skip it and watch it at home one day? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know. I always reply to all of the comments. Do you want to see Morbius cross over into the MCU like Venom and other Spidey villains did? Don't forget that the MCU are going to be introducing a certain vampire hunter themselves soon. That's all from me on this one. Bye guys. Aha!
You fell for the old fake.
Ending trick. Of course, we have to talk about Spider-Man. I mean, it is in my clickbait thumbnail after all. In an interview on Twitter for Cinema Blend, Morbius director Daniel Espinosa was asked if there is a Spider-Man in the Venom and Morbius universe, and he simply replied, of course. He then went on to say, and brace yourselves, that audiences will soon discover which Spider-Man that is. Toby? Andrew? Tom? Spider-Ham? Who is it? Who, damn it, who? Tell me! Okay, so let's break down the evidence, because we actually have quite a lot of it. The only trouble is it makes things more confusing. So firstly, Oscorp Tower. In the trailer, we see the exact same one seen in Andrew's Amazing Spider-Man movies, and we know there isn't an Oscorp at all in the MCU.
Oscorp doesn't exist.
So it's Andrew's Spider-Man confirmed. But we see this poster of Toby's Spider-Man. So maybe this is in the Toby universe, and we know obviously time has passed since his movies, so maybe Oscorp just had a glow up? So it's Toby Spider-Man confirmed. Venom already existed in Toby's world, and we know Tom Hardy's Venom is in this world, so I don't think that really adds up. And on this poster it has graffiti which reads murderer. Now, to me, unless something has happened in Toby's world, the only one of the three who has been accused of murder is Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That of course being the result of Mysterio framing him for his death. To add fuel to this, Michael Keaton, who is just popping up in every universe this year. He's back as his version of Batman from 1989 in the upcoming Flash movie, and here he is in the Sony Spider-Verse as... I don't know. He was obviously Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming and ended up in prison at the end of that movie, which he is also in prison in this movie too. So is he just a variant of Adrian Toomes from the MCU? If so, why? Has he been transported to the Sonyverse from the MCU like Venom was? If so, why? Because he knew who Peter Parker was from the events of Homecoming, but Doctor Strange's spell just pulled in people who knew this to the MCU, not from it. Maybe Sony just cast him because they wanted to and thought, well, only nerds will care about the plot hole and they'll probably come up with a fix to appease themselves. I did. Variant. The only other option, of course, is it being none of the three, and maybe this is where we finally get to see a Miles Morales Spider-Man.
There's gotta be a black Spider-Man somewhere out there.
My personal belief, though, is that it will be Andrew Garfield. I'm pretty confident his Amazing Spider-Man 3 movie will happen, and I hope it does, and if it does, it makes perfect sense to put it in this world. If you remember in No Way Home, when the three Peters all meet, Andrew's Peter explains how he got rageful after Gwen's death, and he didn't want to see Tom's Spider-Man go down that same road after the death of Aunt May.
Try to keep going, try to keep being the that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because I know that's what she would have wanted, but at some point I stopped pulling my punches. I got rageful. I got bitter. I just don't want you to end up like me.
So did Andrew's Spider-Man go too far and ended up killing somebody? Also worth noting, set photos revealed a bus with a Daily Bugle headline, "Where is Spider-Man?" The very same thing most fans are thinking. Maybe he is in the MCU dealing with the events of No Way Home and returns to this world at a much later date than when he left, meaning plenty of time has passed and left people wondering on the whereabouts of Spidey. What do you guys think? Or what do you want to happen in regards to Spider-Man, or just in this movie in general? Comment below and let me know.
Hey! If you're a fellow film fanatic and serial TV show binger, this is the place for you. Be sure to check out all of the videos I have here discussing the latest movies and shows and generally just having a good old time. I'd love to have you around, so make sure you click that subscribe button and that bell thingy to be notified of all future videos. Now stop watching this and go check out the videos.